Hey guys, welcome back. So we are starting this video off a little bit different. I am in my beauty room. I am barefaced, which I feel like I never start my videos off like this. But today's video, as you probably read from the title, we are going to be reviewing the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer from Colourpop. They were so kind enough and actually sent me all 30 shades, which I'm like when I got this, I was so surprised. Like, I've never been sent like a full range of concealers, foundations or whatnot. So yeah, in today's video I'm going to mainly talk about the concealers. I do want to touch on the tinted moisturizers as well, just because in my review video I feel like a lot of people kind of misunderstood what I was saying and I do want to clear things up. I also have the sponge now, which I didn't have in my first review, so I'm gonna talk about this as well. I'm not going to swatch all of the shades just because I feel like that is just so wasteful, because I don't need 30 concealers, you know what I mean? So I just took out my 2 shades and I will kind of just take close-ups of each shade in the bottle, and hopefully that would be helpful, because I do want to give some of these shades away to my friends and family. I don't want to like open things and give people like used things, if you know what I mean. I'm very blessed and grateful that Colourpop was so kind enough to send this to me, but it is just a waste if I was to just swatch everything and then keep all 30 shades, you know? So hopefully you guys can understand that I won't be swatching everything. But yeah, that is pretty much the gist of today's video. I'm going to wear like my face for the whole day and do check-ins throughout the day, so you can really see how long it will last on my skin. If you guys are interested in all of that, then just continue watching. Okay, so I already have my skincare on. I have my sunscreen, eye cream, everything is on my skin. So I'm gonna start off with primer, and I'm gonna go in with the Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer. You can see I have used a lot of this. I just love it. I wear it to work every single day. I almost wear it as like a double moisturizer just because it's so hydrating. But yeah, I do wear it under makeup. I wear it like without makeup. I just really like how it feels on my skin, the way it makes my skin look as well. So now we are going in with the tinted moisturizers. I typically go with light 7W. I feel like medium 9W is a little bit too deep for me a little, maybe in the summertime. I'm like aiming to get a good tan this summer. But yeah, I'm gonna use light 7W. And I think in my review, my initial review, I was pretty confused as well, honestly. I had thoughts of deleting the video and refilming it and uploading it again. This side I'm going to use a sponge just to show you, and I actually been using the tinted moisturizer, rubbing it into my skin, and I've been liking doing that as well. So I'm just gonna push this into my skin using the sponge. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to talk about. Okay, let me talk about the tinted moisturizer first. So in my review, I feel like a lot of you guys thought that I was expecting a full coverage base from the tinted moisturizer, and no, I wasn't. I know a tinted moisturizer is only going to give you light coverage. In my head, I watched Kathleen's video, and every time she applies a tinted moisturizer, she almost uses it as a full coverage foundation. Or maybe her skin is just so clear that it does look full coverage on her. I don't know, but I was expecting a lot more coverage, and especially when my friend, she said she couldn't tell a difference of my skin. She didn't say it was good or bad, she just said it looked like my bare skin, you know what I mean? To me, that's not really worth the extra step in the morning, because I already do feel confident enough to go to work without any product on my skin. So I felt like, you know, the coverage, even though it's light, I get it, but it wasn't like enough. And I do understand that a tinted moisturizer is not meant to really cover, it's just meant to even out your skin tone, and I would say for the most part it does. But for me personally, like personal preference, I probably would have just went without it, but I do like it. I have been using it, so it's not like a formula that I don't like. I do use it. I think there's a time and place for it. So you probably can see from this side to this side there is a slight difference, but it's very, very subtle. So I think with this high coverage concealer, it does work well with a light coverage tinted moisturizer, and like I do like it. Like my skin looks really good. So on this side, I'm just going to use my fingers, because if you really think about it, if you break down the name, it's tinted moisturizer. And how do you put your moisturizer on in the morning? You rub it in, right? So I saw a lot of comments saying people I should have used my fingers, but when you see I use my fingers, the undertone is so pink. Like it will settle down, but it's kind of like scary looking. And I feel like when you use your fingers and rub it in, the coverage is a lot higher. It looks like I slapped sunscreen onto my skin, if you know what I mean. Like the shade looks completely different. I don't know if you guys can really tell on camera. Hopefully that clears things up. I do like it. I've been using it, but it's not like my everyday foundation, you know what I mean? I'm still gonna go to my full coverage stuff. But if you do want to make this tinted moisturizer be more full coverage, you can always go in with a high coverage concealer, and that is what Colourpop pretty much has done with the Pretty Fresh concealers. I will read some of the claims of the Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. So it's supposed to be a full coverage creamy cushion concealer. It instantly brightens skin for a fresh natural finish that lasts all day. So we will test that out and see if it does last the whole day. It's infused with hyaluronic acid and coconut water to hydrate skin, and it's available in 30 shades, and it's also ideal for all skin types. And the concealers are $9 each in 30 shades. My two shades that I picked out is Light 45W and Light 50W. I'm gonna go in with 45W today. I think this is like my under eye concealing shade. I do like to go a couple shades lighter than my skin tone just to like brighten up my under eyes. So you can see I have pretty dark under eye circles. A lot of concealers don't cover that, but I do find this concealer to have a very good coverage, and it for the most part does kind of cover it up. The applicator is just like the no filter applicator, so I'm just gonna put this under my eyes. You can see the undertone is actually quite warm. I'm actually going to just grab another shade, maybe one closer to my skin tone, and do some spot concealing. The shade range is a bit weird to me. A lot of them look very pink, very neutral and very cool tone. There's not a lot of warm shades. I saw Kathleen talk about it and she was saying that she wants more neutrals, and I'm like, I don't know, I feel like there's already a lot of neutral shades in here. I think I will use medium 90W, my spot conceal. Okay, so now I have 3 shades. So now I'm just gonna blend this out. I will talk about the sponge last, since this video is mainly about the concealers. So as you can see, the concealer is very easy to blend out. I actually really enjoy it. It's covering up my blemish pretty easily. I think the sponge has a lot to do with it as well. The sponge is so good, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. Honestly, for the concealer, the coverage is good. I think under the eyes especially, it looks amazing because it is more of a hydrating concealer. It just works really well underneath the under eyes, because I will always have to set my under eyes and bake it a little because I do have fine lines underneath my eyes and I will crease. But when I do set it down with powder, sometimes my under eyes can look a bit cakey, a bit heavy, like you can tell. But with this concealer, it looks super natural. Like it doesn't look cakey underneath my eyes, if you know what I mean. And I feel like for most people, everybody's under eyes is quite dry, right? I don't know one person that has hydrating under eyes. Like I've never heard of that before, you know? But you will have to set this, in my opinion, because it's so creamy. Like you need to set it. So I'm going to set that down with my Too Faced Born This Way setting powder. This is the powder that I always use. You can see that light 7W is super light. You can see it does not match my neck, but I think medium 9W is just too dark. For me, the shade range is always going to be an issue, and when I look at the concealers as well, like, I don't know, the lighter shades look so neutral and cool toned. They almost look ashy. I think they definitely can expand, improve, and I'm sure they will. It's Colourpop. I feel like they're always listening to us. I'm not an expert when it comes to base, so I honestly don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. That's just how I feel. I feel like there's not enough warm shades. And I'm just gonna quickly set the rest of my face using the Colourpop No Filter press powder. Maybe they will come out with a Pretty Fresh press powder. Maybe it's coming out next week. We'll never know. Now I'm just gonna use the setting mist. I actually been really liking this as well. I haven't been using it as much as the primer, but I really do enjoy this as well. So I'm just gonna spritz this all over my skin. And then I'm just gonna press that in with my sponge. So just briefly talking about the sponge, I think this is so amazing. I think this is gonna be my new go-to beauty sponge now. It is super soft. Like, it's the softest sponge that I've ever used. And when you first use it, you just kind of gotta get used to it. Like, I'm not used to a sponge being this like squishy. It doesn't expand too big. It is the same kind of shape as the Morphe sponge, but this flat edge, let me tell you, it changes the way your foundation goes on. Like, I've never seen a sponge that pushes in my foundation like this sponge. It's so crazy. Like the first time I used it, I felt like my skin looked so good. And I feel like it was because of the sponge, and ever since then I haven't stopped using it. Okay, so that was everything in the Pretty Fresh collection. I have applied every single thing that comes in this family on my face. I'm gonna go off camera and do the rest of my makeup, but right now it is 9:50. We're gonna leave it on for like the whole entire day. Alright, so I am back with my full face. I just wanna jump on here before I start my day just to kind of give a final wrap up on the concealers. So overall, I really do enjoy these concealers. I think they have a very good coverage. Also looks really good underneath the eyes. However, it does slightly crease on me even after I do set it. So I think I just need to play around with different setting powders because I have only used the Too Faced one with this concealer. So I think I just need to play around with that. And I also do have very like deep fine lines underneath my eyes, so it's definitely a personal problem. I don't think everybody's going to have that issue, but because I like how it looks and the coverage, I can kind of look past it because I can always just take my sponge and just blend that creasing out. So I'm still kind of playing around with the concealer in that aspect of like setting it and making sure it doesn't crease. And I think it also does crease a little bit more on me is because it's so creamy, but I really do like it nonetheless. I just need to figure that situation out, but it really looks good on the skin, so I do keep going back to it even though I do have that slight creasing issue. Honestly, the creasing issue is not too much of a big deal when I have eyeshadow on because I do take my eyeshadow on my lower lash line quite low where it kind of covers the creasing, you know what I mean? But if I was to wear it alone, you probably could see the creasing a lot. It doesn't crease on the face, nothing like that. It's just in my creases. It works really well with the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer. Like if you have the tinted moisturizer and it's too light coverage for you and you want to like bump it up a little, definitely go in with the Pretty Fresh. I think they just work well together because obviously it's the same collection. But it is now 10:56, so pretty much an hour since I've applied it. I'm going to start my day and I would check in throughout the day with you guys so you guys can see how it is holding up. I'll show you how my face is now with all the makeup on. So I have the primer, tinted moisturizer, concealer, setting spray, and I use the sponge all on my face today. And this is what it looks like. It looks very full coverage, right? Like, I don't know, I feel like my skin looks better on camera sometimes, but yeah, you can see my under eyes, they don't look too dry. I mean, I've been blending out my creases a little bit, so it's like adding extra powder on, but I think for the most part, my skin looks really good. So yeah, that is my skin. I hope you guys enjoy that little speak through review, but yeah. I'm going to start my day. I got a lot of filming to do, so I will see you guys soon. Hello guys, I am popping in because I wanted to talk about the shade range a little bit more because I was filming some product shots and b-roll shots for this video and I categorized everything to take the product shots, and after seeing it like overall, it kind of changes my mind a little bit. You know how before I was saying I wish there was more warm tone? I actually do see quite a gradient of warm shades. So pretty much the left is cool tone, middle is neutral, right is warm, and you can see there's a lot of neutral tones, then probably warm, and there's not so much of the cool. Maybe that's why I thought there was a lot of shades that look a little bit grey, and just looking at it from the tube. Don't you guys think they look a little bit grayish? I don't know. But let's just look at them a little bit more in detail. So it is now 6:40 in the afternoon. I've had this makeup on for 9 hours and I was gonna go a little bit longer, but I just got back from a walk and I just kind of want to take my makeup off at this point. I feel like 9 hours is a pretty decent time. So this is how my skin is looking. My foundation around my mouth will always come off. I'm always like rubbing my mouth, like every time I eat I'm just like rubbing it, so this never looks good at the end of the day. But if you see my under eyes, okay, my eyeliner clearly smudged. If you see my under eyes, it doesn't look bad, right? I I mean, for 9 hours, I went for a walk, sweated a little bit. It's pretty good. So I just thought I would give you guys this update now. But I did want to close off this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!